Hey, welcome to the show, everybody. Welcome to the Council of Future Conflict. My name is Scott. I am the proprietor of the Future Conflict channel. Today we are talking the shadow government. Ooh, spooky. And the Iran War, day 137. Not spooky, but equally destructive. I can't believe every time I kind of look at our episode numbers, I'm just kind of shocked at how high they get. 692 means we're only 8 away from 700. That ain't nothing, Joe.
That is not. Yeah, that is not nothing. It's a good day in Montana. It's an even better day for folks to be coming to Montana for the Joel Gaines War Lizard Tactical class this weekend, my community security apps class next week, and mountain readiness coming right up. I wanted to share something with everybody. I know we're going to have a mountain readiness segment, but yesterday I picked up this bad boy that's going to be in the raffle.
Nice.
It is a Shield Arms partisan field knife with the burlap handle, and man, is it nice. I told Brandon, I was like, that's nicer than the other one you gave me. And he goes, maybe we come up with a new handle. And I'm like, I may swap these out in the box. And he goes, I didn't tell anybody which knife I gave you.
Joe, we ordered for our sergeant major, the last sergeant major, not the one I was just working with, but the one before him. We got him a Shield Arms knife with his name and the unit symbol laser engraved on it. I tell you what, man, that knife was fucking sweet.
I know. I remember you worked with Brandon on it, and he was pretty excited to do it for you. So
yeah, I can't wait to see him so I can thank him personally for that, because
he assured me he will be around. So
well, that sergeant major, he's one of these kind of guys. An effective sergeant major is the kind of guy that you never see excited. He's just always kind of
yeah.
Well, he kind of wanted to play it off like that, but I caught him with his 06 counterpart kind of going over it. And he was fucking giddy as a schoolgirl. Yeah. He because he's a knife guy, right? And so that was awesome. American Dreamer, she says, "Are you sleeping well after the time change?" It took me a solid 2 weeks to not have any kind of lingering effects of jet lag, and it didn't help that I didn't have any kind of a solid outside of this show. I had no scheduled events to kind of force me to do things. Yeah, thank you. And so, yeah, I mean, but I've been busy. It's just one of those kind of things. It's all catch as catch can, and traveling to see family and taking a break and decompression. I mean, because you have to understand the last, I've been a busy guy for at least the last 6 months with my job. But as these guys know, I had some other kind of additional stressors and drama related to my work for the last 2 years. So I'll get into that at a different time. But it's one of those kind of things where it's just been good not to have to think about stuff. But now I just had a trip the last 2 days where I spent time getting to know more about government contracting, and I'm looking at potential opportunities for work. So maybe I might have a consulting gig coming up here. So we'll see.
Nice.
Yeah, that would be good. So anyway, I've been at it, and so I'm finally over the jet lag. So thank you for asking, American Dreamer.
Hey, American Dreamer, if that's an actual photo of you and Scott Pressler, I have several of myself with Scott Pressler. Great dude.
Nice.
I have never met him, but yeah, he's one of those kind of guys. He's kind of our hero, because he's out there doing the stuff that we tell people they need to be out there doing. Hey, Blaine Bardot in the chat. Thank you, Blaine, for joining us this morning.
Before we move on from it, because we're about to get to the greetings, can we just say how baller that picture
Yeah, it's a good photo. It's a good photo. And for once, it's a Marine wearing a combat shirt when he should actually be wearing a combat shirt. Let me quote Marine Corps regulations: a combat shirt shall be worn only when wearing body armor. And there he is. So good deal. Nothing annoys me more than dudes just walking around in a combat shirt for no reason.
Earl Corgi, as much as I appreciate the sentimentality of this, as much as I kind of wish it were true, it's more like man submits a request for proposal on computer in order to staff 7 administrative government jobs at base number Y
XYZ.
7,000 in South Dakota.
However, while mentioning a small patrol moving quietly through the bush, I spoke with Matt yesterday or Wednesday, and your presence is absolutely expected at the Scout and Recce course as a member of the Outforce. So
reporting as ordered, sir.
He was like, "We need to let him know. I can't wait for him to get here, and I expect to see him in October."
Yeah, I'd like to get. I'm probably going to stop and say hello sooner than that.
Yes, what I thought. Pop into the store; you will absolutely love it.
Yeah, so. I'm definitely. I'm hoping that he might have some catch. Some work for me from time to time because I know my expertise is one that he probably could use from time to time. So we'll see. We'll see. All right. Watcher, how you doing?
Good. Stressed, man. Stressed, but good. Unexpectedly, I have babies in my life that are very needy, but unbelievably cute.
So those babies look like pigs, bro.
Yeah, man. They are. But they're worth a lot of money.
they look like bacon to me.
You know what I would name them? Sausage, bacon, ham.
Yeah, they're worth a lot of money is the deal, and she keeps stepping on them and killing them.
Well, so that's why pig mothers have so many, is because they they're not very good mothers.
She had so first of all, we didn't realize how far along she was, and so we weren't quite completely prepared for them to come, and so we've been in a panic trying to get ready when we finally realized that she was pregnant. And then she had 8, and she has so far squashed 3 of them.
It's kind of amazing. Clarkson's farm, they had the same problem, like large broods, and then like basically the pig moms roll over on top of them while they're nursing and whatnot.
Yep.
And it was kind of amazing. Jeremy actually thought of that ring idea. And I read something about that, and ultimately, like, that really was his idea, not somebody else's, and they just kind of gave it to him. And evidently, a company is now making those.
Yeah, and it's supposedly decreases pig mortality pretty significantly. So
way to bring us all down right in the morning, Watcher. Here are these adorable babies. Half of them are dead now.
Well, only one of them from that picture is dead, but unfortunately it was the biggest. So I'm hearing that new mothers are quite it was well, we'll get there, Blaine. I've got a video.
Yeah, Watcher's like, I got that video.
Blaine says here's a photo of that. Oh yeah. That was good.
All right. So we got a lot to talk about today. If you guys saw our notes page, you'd be like, holy shit.
Yeah. Like, let me just give one quick shout out before you do that, Scott.
Yeah.
These folks right here, Hidden Hybrid Holsters. All right.
Oh yeah, I need to get one.
You guys, they are fantastic. They're very comfortable. And they rushed us one here for a student going through the class. So props to Hidden Hybrid Holsters. Oh, yeah. And I've got the one that they rushed us right here. Unlike some other holster companies, they get them to you really, really quick. That's for a SIG 226, and that gun's going to look pretty sexy in that. That's a pretty sweet holster. They do great work and very fast. So I'm going to drop a link. in there.
Joe,
so.
you'll be happy to know that because I was driving to and from my locations, I was not without protection.
Yes.
And I don't mean in the way that soldiers normally need protection on a Friday night. I meant the kind that needs a hidden holster. So yeah, the irony is I you know what holster I had was my old school nylon tactical tailor holster.
Bro.
Yeah. But it worked, and mostly it was in my my backpack and not on me. So, but better to have it and not need it than to need it and not have it.
I'm not usually a fan of open carry, but for my applications, I find that it's generally what I need. So what I've done is gone and got a duty belt from a fantastic maker, Exumbris. And I highly recommend everybody get yourself a duty belt from them if you're interested in such a thing. Yeah, I just keep that next to my desk. So when I need to whoop on, I whoop on.
You want to know what's funny, Joe? Is you want to know what item I was really surprised by that they let me keep at CIF? Those what are they, the big plastic modular holsters that they issue out to the military for the last, I don't know, 10 years or whatever.
Blackhawks or the one that came out.
Huh?
Serpa.
Yeah, the Serpas. So they gave me all of that. I was
no, not
because they don't want
it. Not
I never wore that. I'd rather, like I said, I would rather have that old tactical tailor, hip on the belt thing.
Guerrilla Intel says Hidden Hybrid supports the Beretta APX series as well. Guess why they support the Beretta APX series? Because they contacted a guy about giving him a holster, and I said, "You got one for the Beretta APX?" And they were like, "No, but now we do." So, yes, Guerrilla, they do. And
they even have my weird obscure Glock.
Yeah, they have all they'll make them for literally everything. So
I might have to call them. They have.
I would hold up a Beretta APX on stream, but I hear YouTube frowns upon such things.
Yeah, pussies.
You know what? Let's try that out and see how that works.
Earl
Corgi, you want to know what I was carrying? Joe, you like the old school drip?
Oh, I love it. That's beautiful.
Like that, actually,
this is what you call this is airsoft. By the way, you can't see the orange tip because of the way I'm covered. But anyway, that's what I was carrying.
And yes, they support the Beretta APX series. Don't look at the orange tip here that I'm covering up. So there it is.
Well, shoot, I might have to call them because they have the newer generation of my Glock, but they don't have my.
Let me know. Yeah, let me know if the YouTube stream dies. Call that an experiment. All right, real quick. Lance Corporal Veteran for $5 says, "Good morning, welcome to another day in the insurgent shadow war by the deep state and China." We'll get into this more later, but let me just say this, right? We are a very skeptical group of people. It's always kind of like, show me. It's like it's great that you're talking about it. Now show me. Like, I want to see some follow through. I want to see some perp walks. I want to see people going, I want to see the effects and results of this. But I will say there is something powerful about naming in the public sphere the actual problem. And this is the first time somebody from the bullet pulpit of the presidency has basically pointed at China and said, China had did this, if this ends in a year's worth of witch hunt against Chinese operatives in the election machinery, then great. If it doesn't, then it's just talking points and a media event. So we'll see. We'll take him at his word and then move from there. Browning high power for the win. I don't know, man. I'll be honest with you. The CZ75, which is what I was holding up, is a legitimate improvement on the. Well, it's an improvement on the high power. Yeah. And the reason I took my CZ75 is because I couldn't find the the Glock 19?
Couldn't find the Glock 19.
Yeah, well, it's not my house,
I'm gonna have to give you the lecture I gave somebody in person the other day. Your gun is always somewhere. You should know where that is.
Well, the operative word there is your.
Yeah. Well,
all right.
We found a gun by the fire ring, and I was not happy that we found a gun by the fire ring.
Yeah, that's not the way. All right. I've heard negative things about CZ in recent years, but the pistol, I have a hard time punishing a company because they make a great pistol.
Dude, we smoked that Scorpion and I loved it. That thing was sweet.
Yeah. I have to do my duty before we move on and say that before we get to the next thing, all of those
is it your duty
zone,
to shake that booty? Go ahead.
Sorry. All of those in the splash zone, please apply your ponchos. A certain individual is about to be featured. So, Scott?
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Once again, I can't see what you're showing me, but Blaine says the images this morning are weird. Scott is in the basement swimming with a 12-year-old girl by the door, and Joe is a strange guy hanging around.
Oh yeah,
I will have you know that guy is not strange. Okay, well, maybe a little, but not a lot.
Now, Blaine, I want credit for eclectic, not 12-year-old girl. Let me just here we go. This is indeed the flag that was on the coffin of my grandfather. So there it goes. And then we've got a secretary from his house. So that's kind of the grandfather corner. And then, of course, this is my sister's Swatch watch that I guess hung on the wall. And at some point she didn't like it and hung it down here in the basement. And everything else is just all the stuff that I couldn't clear away from the
it's in air quotes.
Oh no, I have a sister.
I know you do. I've met her, but you're blaming this Swatch watch on your sister. It's probably yours. Come on, man. It's okay.
I mean,
we all like Swatch watches back in the day.
I didn't hate Swatch watches, back when I was in 6th grade, but I also didn't own a wall hanging clock. I just think it's funny now at this point because I'm old enough and cool enough to where I don't have to worry about things like that.
I also just noticed that in the background, somebody seems to have left a bottle of Centenario Anejo, but that's okay.
Is that in my background?
No, my background.
Oh, I was gonna say I don't think I have anything that cool.
I can't even point at it. It's over there somewhere.
Right there.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah.
All right.
But yeah, Scott, you know what's going to be on the screen because you're the one who gave me the link.
Yes, absolutely. I just want to make sure I can see it before you start playing. So as you know, Pete Hegseth made some announcements about a low-T military. So let's listen to his announcement. This is audio from his announcement. Visuals from elsewhere.
Oh yeah, sorry. I got a full audio.
We have the most elite warriors on the face of the earth. We have a sacred duty to maintain that advantage. Today, I'm authorizing a new screening program for testosterone deficiency, ensuring you have the right testosterone levels to operate at your absolute best. It's about restoring and optimizing your natural capability. Godspeed, keep going, and God bless.
This is one for all of the ladies in the chat this morning. So I don't know if you guys heard it or not, but the Department of War has decided to test soldiers, Marines, sailors. I assume everybody in the DOW over the age of 30, giving them testosterone screening tests because maybe they have a physical. Ellen Page never looked so bullish. Anyway, so I thought that was pretty funny, and let's be honest, it's probably needed especially with the not so much my no, I left the military because of low T. I was like, fuck these guys. No, I think what you see, not so much in the generation like our generation, Joe, but as the millennials start to get older, right, you're starting to notice some weird stuff going on. And especially like, what is it now? We got what's the one after the millennial? Yeah, they're I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't start turning towards performance enhancing drugs, not necessarily steroids, but some of the more kind of high tech, like blood doping and things like that. I think that it makes fucking sense because, like if you do it smartly, it can be healthy. And let's be honest, if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying when it comes to war. I don't know.
I'd like to point out that the Happy Plague Doctor has found me out. That's not actually a bottle of tequila. It is my bottle of high karate cologne. Bringing back the hits from the 80s, high karate.
High karate. All right.
Nobody ever wore it, but everybody had a bottle. It's just the way it worked.
Well, it's kind of, what was it, Brute, and like there were several like old English leather. That was another one that a lot of people had back then. All right. Speaking of high testosterone, the legendary U.S. Army Jungle Training School has returned to Panama. This is a let's see here. How Panama's crucible is yet again testing soldiers' testosterone levels. I mean, metal.
I like that photo that has him right there with a machete with an old school leather sheath. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, 100%. I don't know if I'll be honest with you. If you maintain a leather sheath, then it can last and do work.
Where did my leather sheath? Oh, right here. Like this one right here from the World War II Marine Corps Jungle Smash It. Very cool.
You might take a little saddle soap to that and kind of recondition that leather. I bet it would turn out pretty nice.
Yeah, you can't read it on the screen, but it says USMC, U.S. government on the back of the of that sheath. So,
all right, let's see. 90 degrees in March. The air feels oppressive. Humidity and bugs pervade. Sweat glues tattered uniforms to skin, becoming soggy second skin. The only option: keep calm and jungle on. Adapt and complete the mission. Ranger School is truly not for the weak or faint at heart. In Panama, jungle operations course class 2604 students learned the jungle is not for the timid or entitled. The legendary jungle train has returned to the former Fort Sherman, Panama, now a Panamanian aero naval base, Cristobal Colon. After more than 2 decades hiatus, technology has changed since the doors closed in 1999. The jungle, however, has grown back with a vengeance. It favors no one and doesn't care about the outcome of conflict. Damage done to flora is eventually reclaimed by nature. And it's a longer article. It's really good. I recommend you guys check it out. A couple of people's names in here I recognize, so it was kind of nice to see that good people are involved in this. Yeah, I thought that we're on the right track when we're going back to Fort Sherman.
Agreed.
Yeah.
I know this has a special place in your heart, Joe.
It does. And it's hot and steamy and nasty there, but it's a lot of fun. You learn a lot. And I think that our future conflicts will involve some jungle work. So,
yeah. And the interesting thing about the jungle is that will be a new and unique challenge for some of these people. That's not to say that the drones and things like that of Ukraine can't operate the jungle, but it's a totally different environment. And one that would not.
I'll say it. They can't operate in the jungle.
One that will pose significant challenges to modern technology.
Yeah, because we put the drone in the air and it immediately gets filled with moisture and drops to the ground because it shorted itself out.
Yeah, I mean, like I'm with you, Joe. I think that you can't just take what works in one place and make it work in another place. That being said, a lot of that is engineering, right? And some smart engineers can come up with some things, but it will be different things, right? It will not be the same things.
Last night I actually talked about this. Drones are having a impact in Ukraine because Ukraine is open and flat.
Yeah.
It doesn't
literally,
no,
that's a great point, Joe. It's literally the perfect location for drones.
Look at the difference in effects we had with drones in Iran versus Afghanistan, right? Way more effective. I mean, in Iraq versus Afghanistan, way more effective in Iraq than Afghanistan, because in Afghanistan, they could just go into the wild and you would lose them. That's the way it works.
Thumb Ugly for $2 says, I still wear Brute and Stetson. Good stuff.
Yeah, I think my mom gave me a bottle of Stetson every year for Christmas, and they are all unopened to this day.
I still use, my deodorant is Old Spice, just to kind
of seem like an Old Spice kind of man.
Yeah. Well, my grandfather was, so I figured if it's good enough for him, why should I turn my nose up at it?
There you go. Not bad. Speaking of things not to turn your nose up at. Just in, White House announces ICE field offices will have cameras within 60 days, or body cameras.
Well,
finally.
Well, I mean, my question is I can't believe the ICE officers don't have body cameras on.
Well, the Democrats blocked it for the last 18 months. So, but they finally got it stuck through in some other bill. I can't remember what. They got the funding for it last time, and then they blocked it a different way. I don't even remember. And so now it
was the biggest 360 in Democrat history. So post George Floyd, they demanded every law enforcement officer in America wear a body camera. And then they were like, wait, it's highlighting the ridiculous behavior of the people who keep getting killed by the cops. So we demand that they not have body cameras. And that's where you are today.
Yeah.
Listen, the guy who put up Aquavelva, that's a surefire way to get yourself banned from the chat. Aquavelva, come on, bro.
Speaking of trying to get banned from the chat, Scott's an axe guy. No, listen, I literally missed that year. Like 5 years after I kind of aged out of colognes and trying to smell good for girls, that became like the big thing was the Axe body spray. And so the irony was when I went back into the Army after 9/11, like all of my peers were all like wearing Axe body spray. I was just like, fuck, what the hell is this shit? You guys are reek.
Well, agree. Before we move on, I just want to say I personally can't wait for the ICE deportation tackle highlight reels that will surely be coming shortly after this becomes a thing.
Yeah, this is going to probably backfire on people. They're not going to like it.
Surprise, surprise, surprise. Bad people do bad things. All right, moving on. So this is our warm-up for the China segment. Hong Kong police arrest 5 over seditious book. In other news, authoritarian dictatorships arrest people over free speech.
A dictatorship acts like an authoritarian dictatorship.
Exactly right. Hong Kong's National Security Police arrested 5 booksellers on suspected charges of doing an act with seditious intention. The government said in a statement late on Wednesday, the city's once flourishing independent bookstore industry has dwindled since Beijing imposed sweeping national security legislation on the city in 2020. Let's see. Many of these stores, which offered a broader range of political and social titles than those found in mainstream shops, had become vital outlets for the Hong Kong civil society by hosting book talks and workshops. Police said they received a referral from Hong Kong Customs Department stating that a batch of books with seditious intention was intercepted inside a consignment shipped to Hong Kong from overseas. Officers searched 2 shops on Mok Gong, located in the city's bustling Kowloon district.
No, I put this story in here so you would read it the way that it is written.
Mongkok, yes.
Yes.
Located
By the way, I was there when we were deciding whether we should put this in or not, and that's literally why this made it in.
I know, right?
Yeah, that's the only reason this made the cut today.
Arrested 2 men ages 37 and 57, 3 women aged 30 to 59. See, women always causing trouble. Police investigations revealed the 5 arrestees were suspected of displaying items with seditious intentions, selling publications with seditious content inside the shops. So, once again,
how many of American bookstores could be accused of seditious content right now in the U.S.?
None, because they have a freedom of speech.
Okay, but
right. No, you're 100% right. I mean, like how many stores sell communist propaganda and they call for the
a lot.
Yeah, or for the overthrow of the United States as it exists, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
You know, like you know, if they were to do what they really want, which is to kill the president, then many others would say, well, you haven't gone far enough. You have to destroy the country. You know, but in America, that is, you know, well, except for the whole like declaring your intent to harm the commander in chief, which is against the law, I might add. Wanting to overthrow the United States, you know, puts you in a box of concern, but is not illegal.
Well, it's funny you should mention that. Wanting to kill the president and seditious activity. No one would have been doing that recently.
Yeah. So check this out. Good segue, Watcher. Thank you very much. Florida U.S. congressional candidate William Upham has been arrested and charged for threatening to kill the president. Duval County jail records. If convicted, he faces 5 years in prison. The guy's a total psycho. He said,
"Is it too late for America?"
Yeah, go ahead and play the video.
My answer is no. It's not too late. The lamb will be sacrificed to pay for all of our sins, and our country will be saved from the Babylon that we have become. President Trump is the Antichrist, and he will be killed and sent to hell. God will prevail against evil.
This reads like a psyop because he's trying to make him sound like some sort of a Christian nationalist. And he's literally just an insane moron.
Yeah.
And by the way, who commissions a guy named Upham? Has nobody ever seen Saving Private Ryan?
Well, I you know, the obviously the answer, Joe, is the Marines. The Army law. We learned our lesson on Uphams back in the war. Right. Yeah, this guy, this guy is just a nutso, right? And you know, he may be as a Christian nutso, he may be one of our nutsos, but this is just goes to show that you can't. It doesn't matter what his kind of bent is. You do the wrong thing, you get these. I assume. It's kind of hard to assume what he is. He hates Trump, but he wants to run for Congress, and he's a Christian. So is he
crazy?
Is he trying to pretend to be a conservative while he's crazy, or is he a Christian Democrat? Who knows?
So Thumb Ugly says, "What aside from the obvious? What about the facts and uniform making political statements and threats?" Yeah, you can't see what's happening at the federal level behind the scenes, but I guarantee you that guy's about to get a recall order and some charges. So,
so I looked into it. And he got medically discharged, which apparently means they can't recall him. But he's definitely guilty of other shit.
They can issue a waiver for that purpose. Yeah, they will.
Well, it might just be easier, all things said, to just get him on federal felony charges because
because apparently there were like 3 federal felonies in that from what I have seen. Yeah, he definitely needs his T checked. That's a fact, I blame.
Yeah, or some.
Speaking of people who need their T checked shortly before they get stuffed into a wood chipper.
Yeah, I was going to say that I have an easier solution, and it's just not that complicated.
Well, candidate number 1 for wood chipper mania is is showing up here right on your own screen.
We're going to talk about Chinese agents later, and
Thank you for drawing the connection. By the way,
I was going to say, speaking of Chinese agents,
Right.
Make us any safer? Did that make the children that are left behind any more stable?
yes. Objectively, sorry.
Did that make us any safer? Did that make the children that are left behind any more stable? Did it improve the idea that we can't all be judged by our worst day? And I want to be very clear, these are horrific crimes. They
Oh, we can't judge a child rapist by his worst day, but you want to judge Derek Chauvin by what you consider to be his worst day.
Yeah. Huh. Funny how that works, isn't it?
Yeah, you can't judge pedophiles, man. Look, you go in the wood chipper with them, bro. You go in the wood chipper with them.
Yeah. I will say that it's very interesting what you said earlier. One of the first people to speak out on social media that I saw after the president's speech was a certain Timmy. You wonder what might motivate a man to feel nervous enough to make a post about that.
Listen, I think Walt should be put in a wood chipper for those eyebrows alone.
Well, there's probably there's a low T theme running today. Yeah, I was literally before I looked at your comment, I was literally getting ready to make a low T joke about him. But speaking of high T individuals, let's
about low T individuals. It's a high T individual talking about low T individuals. Man,
let's
there's
move
a theme today.
So we've got a couple clips here of Marco Rubio absolutely destroying the left writ large and calling them out for the political terrorism that they've enacted. So let's give old Marco the floor here and let him.
Terrorismo político de extrema izquierda no es una...
Oh,
Jesus!
I picked a Spanish language version.
Can you find? We'll go to the next one and see if we can
second.
find this, because this is far left terrorism in Peru and things like that.
Okay.
In one 18-month period between 1971 and 1972, the FBI counted some 2,500 bombings on American soil, a rate of nearly 5 a day. The overwhelming share of that violence came from right-wing extremists. Between 1970 and 1980, 93% of terrorist attacks in the West came from the far extremist left. These are numbers that would shock most Americans today, because we've been taught to believe that this kind of political violence, it simply doesn't exist, or it's being exaggerated. But it does exist. We're actually underestimating it. And our nations bear the scars for it to prove it.
So this isn't directly the first video, but it's close.
Yeah. Well, we can. This just goes to he in the first video he was talking about Peru, and the broader kind of context here is that this is not just something that's happening in America. This is something happening globally. Is a wave of leftist terrorism. He spoke about Peru and the suffering endured during the era of far left terrorism. Remember the savagery of Sendero in Peru, fanatically Maoists with assassinated peasants and who killed pregnant women and babies. We must never forget that. So, he's rightly calling out the evils of Marxist terrorism, throughout the world, not just what's happening in America. Sorry.
Yeah. So no, that's okay. So this is I don't think this is highlighting the same thing. So
of the terrorism we face today, they despise the West because the West is great. This is an international conference because we are facing we are facing a transnational threat. These are not distinct and isolated cells. They are interconnected networks. They do not recognize our borders. They do not believe, in fact, in the nation state itself. They coordinate, they communicate, they travel, they train, and they act together, sharing the same infrastructure, sharing the same enemies, sharing the same mission. Antifa militants and their comrades travel from across Europe and to the Americas to participate in each other's attacks, to funnel propaganda and training materials and target information through shared encrypted channels. moving through underground networks of safe houses and finance and sustain their operations through transnational funds. And they work alongside hostile foreign states that share their mission, like Iranian proxy networks, who are increasingly intimately tied to leftist militant groups around the world. The Cuban regime's sprawling intelligence and ideological network.
So it's just good to hear somebody with his stature calling out these problems directly. I just shared one more clip in
this
private
is the one you shared.
None of this is driven by idealism. It is not utopian. In fact, it is the opposite. One of the criticisms you sometimes hear of communism, for example, is that it sounds good in theory, but it never works in practice. That's actually not true.
It doesn't sound good.
Communism does not sound good in theory. The world it envisions for all of us is small, flat, gray, leveled of all exception, drained of all that is good and noble in the human soul. The world it envisions is a world without courage, a world without creativity or ambition, a world without heroes or glory or great causes to strive towards, a world without miracles, without myths, without men who rise above the rest to do incredible and extraordinary things. And the world communism envisions is a world without God. For these architects of revolutionary violence, the towering achievement of our civilization, for them, it's an unbearable humiliation, a reminder of what they cannot do, and a reminder of what they cannot be. So they choose instead to destroy. They attack pipelines, they attack railroads, they attack power grids and laboratories, the physical embodied symbols of power and invention and achievement. This is the nature of the terrorism we face today. They despise the West because the West is great.
I pointed out during the principles of protection class the other day, or protective security concepts class earlier this week, that the modern world of political assassinations began with Shinzo Abe and has just quadrupled and tripled and continues to go up, right? And that's a byproduct of this desire for this. Communism has never brought everyone up. It has lowered everyone to a common low standard.
Well, I think it's so important that he's saying what he's saying. We talk about show me, right? I want to see action and blah, 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 all that kind of stuff. But ultimately, people have to be educated in order to support the policies. Otherwise, they just like, oh, I don't know why they're doing this. It's too radical or whatever. No, you need to understand what communism is. And if you have forgotten what our forefathers learned through trial, pain, and torture in the 20th century, it's time to remind people, what communism brought, even to America, right? Like where he would say there were 5 bombings a day in America in the late 60s and early 70s. So it's one of those kind of things where we have forgotten how bad it is in so many corners of society. This needs to be taught in schools at the elementary level. And we need to connect all the dots, right? So the LGBTQ kind of movement is directly connected to leftist communist ideology that stems from
destroy the family.
Exactly right.
And that's where communism begins. You belong to the state, not your family.
All right. So anyway, I'd love to go deeper into this, but we have so much to talk about. I just kind of want to keep going. Marco Rubio announces U.S. will restrict visas for nationals tied to far-left terrorism, political violence, and economic sabotage. Good.
Yeah, that's just
happened sooner.
It's one of those headlines that I woke up and read it and went,
yes.
Wait, we weren't doing that? Wait,
yes.
What the fuck?
Right. Well, but see, that's just it. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that's happening in the administration. Like these guys, we criticize them rightly so, I think. But at the same time, they do a lot of stuff that maybe we forget to praise them when they deserve it. And Marco Rubio is one of the ones that has absolutely surprised me. And And just real quick, I just want to say, in him enacting this through the State Department is absolutely the right answer. Go ahead, Joe.
No, it is. It is. And if you think that we're exaggerating the threat, just go look at the comments on my thing about the guy having a social security number not meaning he was legal. There's someone in there who said that all of you people need to be hung dead until your bodies rot. So the left, on average, will kill you if you let them. So you need to be paying attention to this stuff and Marco talking about it, and you need to be training. I'm just throwing that out there.
Well, the other thing too is like, oh, they just don't know what they're saying when they say everybody who supports this needs to be killed. No. That's the fantasy.
They know exactly what they're saying.
They want thousands of people killed, put up against the wall. They want to never have to worry about people like us ever again.
I've got some bad news for them. I don't think that I'll go up against the wall. How's that?
Well, here's the thing. Like, I remember there was this, when I hung out in San Diego, I was a much more chill dude back then. And one of the guys that hung around with my social group, his name was Commie Chuck, right? Because he was a member of the American Socialist Party, and he was a communist, right? And I remember just kind of having a chat with him at a get together. And I was like, so let me get this straight. I mean, I just want to, because normally we didn't talk about his communist shit. We talked about drinking and, hanging out, because he was a good get along guy, but ultimately he said he was communist, right? So I said, listen, the whole communist thing, right? You're advocating for a revolution, right? I mean, that's the difference between socialists and communists, and you want communism, right? He goes, yeah, we needed the revolution. We need the violent overthrow of the United States. I was like, here's the thing, Chuck. Guys like me are going to kill you. And probably before you get enough guns and power to put guys like me up against the wall. Because in America, we have way more guns than most of the rest of the world combined. And so, and they're not in hands of people like you. Chuck, you don't own a gun, do you? No, I don't own a gun. Well, I own a gun. I own multiple guns. And my family does. And most of the farmers out there who don't vote for you own guns. And it's just like, it was like I was every time I said one of these kind of like these things, it was like I was slapping him in the face. Like, he just thought that people would want to go along with all this. I was like, no, nobody wants to go along with that stupid idea. Now, you're starting to see a lot more people go along with communism, but this is sexy communism with iPhones, right? This is not the communism of Pol Pot. But here's the thing. It doesn't matter how you sexy it up with modern slogans or whatever, ultimately ends up in the killing fields.
But it all is the communism of Pol Pot.
Exactly right.
You are so bad and evil that even the Vietnamese are like, hey, we got to do something about this guy.
Yeah.
People
the Vietnamese communists, by the way.
Yeah.
People get bent out of shape about trying to identify things as communism because they don't. I think we do ourselves a disservice by not realizing like what the underlying thing of communism is: a rejection of anything except for might makes right, and then a focus on communalism, right? Like, that's all it is. They'll take on any other ideology they think they have to in the moment in order to try and win shit. They'll pretend that they believe or will give you anything or don't believe anything that they think they can get away with at the moment in order to try and do, because they don't believe truth is relevant. Like, I don't understand how people still fall for this shit.
Everyone currently advocating for communism is doing so from the newest iPhone or Android phone.
Facts.
Just saying. All right, on with the show, right?
Absolutely.
Well, the next one's a hoot.
Woohoo.
These guys all seem excited.
So basically, this is interesting, right? At first, you may think, oh, well, this is kind of an exaggeration. But no, I think this is exactly the correct action. A plane in the United States was forced to land after the sound of the call to prayer was heard from the passenger's phone. Southwest Air flight traveling from Tennessee to Florida was forced to make an emergency landing in Atlanta. Upon landing, a SWAT team boarded the aircraft and detained one of the passengers, accusing him of terrorism and posing a bomb threat. It was later revealed that the detained passenger was a Muslim, and during the flight, his prayer time app called prayer alert activated and played the Islamic call to prayer. The crew reportedly interpreted the sound as a potential security threat. It is a potential security threat, by the way.
It certainly is.
Notified dispatchers and decided to make an emergency landing. This is exactly the right. It's inconvenient, but it's exactly the right thing. Oh! This is you're infringing on his freedom of religion. No. Islam is not a religion. It is a governance structure that has a religious components bolted into it.
They mentioned this in the movie Mile 22 when he says the greatest intelligence failure of our time was a bunch of people being politically correct, not wanting to note a bunch of Islamic flight students who said they didn't need to know how to land, right?
Yeah.
And that's it. Yeah.
Here's another thing too. Like this is just a little kind of quirk of trivia here. The term politically correct, right, Joe? This is something that has pervaded, like in the 90s is when we really kind of started talking about being politically correct. It's like, you know where that term comes from? The Soviet Union. Comrade, that is not politically correct to say the price of gas is too low or the price or the availability of bread is too low. That is not politically correct. When you point out a fact that is uncomfortable to the overlying narrative of communism, it is not politically correct. And so I find it ironic.
Defending our democracy came from the same place. Yeah.
Exactly right. All right.
The reason why every communist country says Democratic Republic of.
One of the people in the chat in the bottom says Israel destroyed these people with brains. Now a call to prayer is landing a whole plane. No, what did it was 9/11, buddy. 9/11 broke our brains, if anything did. In point of fact, it woke us up to the reality of what that.
I must object to the use of this map because it's all in French, and I object.
Well, I mean, le cartel mexicain de Sinaloa installed des laboratories in Afrique la Quest. That's what I don't know. I'm just I'm reading it out.
We were here to communicate with the French last night.
I know, outrageous French.
Turns out,
are you talking about my outrageous French accent? A French map. Where's the white flag? Yes, exactly right. All right. This is I thought since we talked so much about Mali last week, and all the, this is not a smallpox breakout on the back of a.
It looks like an Ebola map. I'm not gonna lie.
I know, right? This is, in point of fact, a map of drug locations related. Oh yeah, you think it's probably to Boko Haram or the JNIM militias? No. This is the Sinaloa drug cartel. The Mexican Sinaloa cartel is now setting up its laboratories in West Africa, as shown by the army raids conducted in Nigeria in May and June of 2026. Under pressure from the USA in Latin America, part of the production and trafficking is shifting to sub-Saharan Africa. The region risks becoming a production hub and, in the worst case, a consumer market. The drug routes cross areas controlled by jihadist groups in the Sahel who would let the traffickers pass in exchange for passage tax that fund their activities. Yeah. So ultimately, what you're seeing here is the development of a drug for money ecosystem protected by radical Islam, very similar to what you had in Afghanistan with the Taliban. Now, the Taliban, when the Taliban didn't have to fight anybody, they eradicated opium poppies, right? But when they needed money, it became, the kind of,
cash crop.
the cash crop, exactly right, that funded their operations. So I think this is very interesting, and I think this is probably here to stay. If I had to guess.
Hey, Bessie points something out. That's the one time you have pronounced a foreign language correctly, and it was French.
I know. Tell me about it. I actually had
Oh,
French. I had French in high school. So, and in point of fact, that there was a really hot French girl in college that
I was going to say, I know why you had French in high school. There was girls in the French class. Yeah.
Hey, once you understand the key to unlocking Scott's head, lots of things make sense.
Speaking of, we're just about at the anniversary of the Cracker Barrel trip that should never have happened.
Well, in point of fact, we need to find it. Is there a Cracker Barrel between Bozeman and where you're at that we could meet?
Only if you go through Missoula, which is the long way.
Yeah, I'm not doing that.
Okay.
It's looking at, I think it's about 3 hours is what they're telling me on GPS to get from Bozeman to you.
Yeah, if you go through Helena, yes. Not if you go through Missoula, though.
Missoula's faster?
No, Missoula's longer.
Oh, okay. Helena. That's
Take 287 through Helena.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's where it's taking me. I didn't pay too much attention to what the actual route is. I was just looking at the time.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And Watcher has
vanished,
abandoned us. Joe, you want to talk a little bit about mountain readiness? Hey, by the way, is mountain readiness is we got ours in July. In when is the one in the fall?
The one in the fall. The mountain readiness is right after the time at Matt's. So mountain readiness in the fall is like late October.
Okay. It's almost like we need to do a different mountain readiness in spring at a different location in the country.
He does it in North Carolina.
Oh, but so he does one in the fall and the spring. Okay, good. No, that's good. That means we have multiple events that we could schedule.
Yeah. So mountain readiness coming up next weekend right here at Camp Ponderosa. There are people here for the event right now, like that guy, and then there's somebody else over further that away. There are people here, so it's going to be a great time. We've got a ton of great prizes in the raffle. We've got a bunch of cool items that'll go in a swag bag for the first 100 people to come in. You're really going to get your money's worth out here. There's lots of training going on, a lot of things happening. I see Natalie says she's already packed. Oh boy, if Natalie's coming, I gotta prep my liver for that because Natalie puts drinks in your hand, but that's okay.
She does that.
It's going to be a great time. We're going to have live shows. We're going to have a lot of your favorite people here. This time, for certain, Angry American, under penalty of severe shame, will definitely be here, and he's on his way here. It's going to be good. You're going to be able to meet Watcher. And then what we're going to do, I have a new idea, Scott. We're going to take that Maine police officer photo and we're going to blow it up and put it on the wall. And we're going to have Watcher stand next to it. And he has still yet to confirm or deny that he's taken a moonlighting job as a police officer in Maine, because this cop is a dead ringer for Watcher. And we're going to have people test that. But you're going to get the opportunity to help get Scott out of jail and a couple others, Angry American and a few others with our jail-a-thon. We're going to have a local, very good naturalist take everyone on a walk and learn about the plant life around here and all that kind of stuff. We're just going to come out here and hang out in the beautiful Pacific Northwest, enjoy the evergreen forest that we have here. And with any luck, we could probably arrange for some bear wrestling because there are bears and they are everywhere. But when you go down here, the schedule is really, really good. Scroll down a little bit there, Watcher, and we'll take a look at it. There's a lot of neat things going on. I guess we can't really zoom in on it. One of the best things that's going to happen is that on next Friday at 1 p.m., Yogi, the Butcher to the Stars Yogi, is going to make some jalapeno cheddar elk sausage and some original bratwurst elk sausage. Show you how that's made, and then we're going to eat them, and it's going to be amazing. Rumor is he's making lunch today, and I have lost 3 pounds this week. I'm probably going to put him on at lunch. So it's going to be good.
Joe, I want to let you know that on my way home, I stopped at a marathon station in the middle of like bumfuck Indiana, right? Like in the middle of nowhere. And I go to get my classic extra large size monster, the twist off one, the big one. Yeah, the big one. So I go to get that for my drive, and I see like in the case next to it with all the sodas and everything like that, glass bottle Mexican pure sugar Mountain Dew Baja Blast.
Oh, I didn't know. No, that's cool. Did you get some, right?
Well, I got 2. I just got 2 bottles because they were like $2.50 a piece.
You can't bring those on a plane though, so.
Yeah, right. Well, my point is they are available, so we just need to kind of.
No, I do have a crew that is headed to the liquor barn today. We will add that to the list.
If we can just get the cans, that's fine. But if you can get some of the bottles, the bottled Mexican real sugar, that would be the best. And see if they have soju at the liquor barn.
They don't have soju.
Oh,
I'll have somebody check though, but I don't think they do.
If I were doing it,
just to address your concern, there's no poison ivy in Montana, so
yeah. Well,
no sex in the poison ivy, you don't even have to worry about it. It's okay.
We can always put like rum or vodka, probably quantities in the.
I like how we focus on the important issues of mountain readiness here.
I'm just saying. Well, we haven't talked about the real important thing, which is Derby pie. Now that Watcher's back.
Yeah. So Watcher, we have removed the cake duties from you due to a gracious volunteer, and you are going to be focused on making Derby pie. So. Maybe he's not there.
I think he is still having connection problems. Natalie, I have no idea what you're talking about, but I like where your mind's at.
No, not connection problems.
There we go. Now he's back.
Reset, and then I forgot to turn on the power to my mic problems. Do we know how many people are going to be there?
A lot.
Over 100.
Well,
and you have no idea how many locals might show up.
Yeah, no idea how many locals will show up. So,
and we know Joe has been putting those handbills up at strategic locations.
I've been out riding the roads, having fun, and doing good stuff. So it's gonna be good stuff. There's just gonna be a ton of great activities, great classes. More importantly, great camaraderie. We're gonna be doing a live show. And we're also going to have live music from Earl's Classic Vinyl. And it's just going to be a fantastic weekend. So come and hang out with us. I'm going to be doing a special tribute to Alan Erickson, the founder of Camp Ponderosa. So yeah, going to be pretty good.
Well, he will be missed. That's for sure. But he's in a better place. All right, let me do the brush beater ad here. All right, in the midst of the continuing Iran war and growing concerns over the CCP election interference, the threats to our nation, both foreign and domestic, remain extremely high. When you need to see clearly through troubled times, this same trusted people at Brush Beater Store brings you Kyber Optics, a premium U.S. veteran-owned owned and operated brand founded by a multi-tour combat veteran of Iraq and Afghanistan with a special reconnaissance background. Every Kyber optic is developed in-house, rigorously tested in real-world conditions, and backed by no questions lifetime warranty. 2 outstanding options are available right now. The Kyber Optics 1x5 x 24 LPVO, a fast-handling, versatile, low-power variable optic currently on sale for $250, perfect from close quarters to medium range. And Kyber Optics Jambaya, the 3x30 compact, battle-ready prismatic optic with excellent Japanese glass and a rapid target acquisition on sale for $299.99. Shop these and the full Kyber Optics lineup at the brushbeater.store/collection/Kyber Optics. Use code CFC10 for 5% off Kyber Optics radios, courses, orders over $150 shipped for free. Big thanks to Matt for at Brushbeater Store for bringing serious Patriots the real optics built by veterans. Head to brushbeater.store right now, enter code CFC10, and get the visuals you need. Now, back to the show.
So he's coming out here in September, and we have conveniently scheduled this class to straddle bear season. So watch for a Kyber Optics video to come out.
Yeah, that'll be cool. All right. Wait a second. When you said September, are you saying that he wants me to be in Montana or he wants me to be in North Carolina?
North Carolina. That's
okay,
October.
That's October. Okay. I just got I was confused, but that's not uncommon. All right. Let's get into our main topic for today, Iran war. By the way, we got through like 10 odds and ends, like in good time, but we're still a little long. All right. So, Iran, let's see. This is one of those update. What to know about the Iran war today? Iran's Revolutionary Guard Corps claimed a new series of strikes targeting U.S. military facilities in the Middle East on Friday, alleging attacks on bases in Syria, Kuwait, Oman, Bahrain, and Jordan. There were no By the way, they said they hit Atnaf in Syria, but the irony is we
been out of there
from that base since February. So
I was going to say for a long time now.
Yeah, the Syrians took that base over. There was no confirmation from the U.S. officials of any impacts. The Iranian forces have often exaggerated their claims. Yeah, 100%. This is basically them saying we shot missiles towards these areas.
We sunk the ford again.
Yeah, exactly right. Ship crews around the Straits of Hormuz are unwilling to make the risky trip through the Straits of Hormuz because of the breakdown of the U.S.-Iran ceasefire. According to a CEO of the Greek maritime risk management company, he said, "We've gone back to the worst case scenario. Nobody's willing to move." The United States military said it completed the 6th consecutive night of strikes on early Friday, hitting dozens of Iranian military targets. The White House press secretary Carolyn Leavitt said President Trump would not allow ongoing attacks of ships in Gulf states without ensuring Iran pays for the consequences. And I believe the quote was, "We are destroying the entire coast." And based on the videos and pictures I've seen, I believe it to be true to the best, to the furthest extent that we're able to do so.
Right. Destroying coastal artillery emplacements, coastal sorry, Hunch just walked through and threw my mind off. Destroying all of their radar installations, launch sites, all that kind of stuff. So good.
Yeah. So this next video, this is a post from Mario Nafal. This is an obvious propaganda. And let me just say, I bet this is one of the tunnels that doesn't exist anymore because several of these were hit in recent months, and a couple very vigorous secondary explosions. Joe, this looks like essentially the barrel of a very large gun, and all of these missiles inside of it, packed to the gills, like you see here.
And to cook off at once. Yeah.
Yeah. Talk about a linear explosion blowing out the end where the penetration occurs. And it's pointed right at Djibouti. I'm just saying.
Right at Djibouti. And
it's like
I just point out that Iranian baseball caps are ridiculous.
Yeah. But they're so weirdly off. It's anyhow. I just want to point out before we move on, guys. It's like a giant pre-buried Miklik.
I know, right? This is what you call a line charge. And
this is a giant Bangalore torpedo right here.
Exactly right. And yes, there's the ventilation shafts as they go flying into the air.
It's just like hitting a womp rat back home.
and these guys are guaranteed to be dead. So these guys are definitely not still alive. So there is that to consider. All right, moving on. Bandar Abbas is being isolated. Yeah, you're starting to see a real heavy focus on infrastructure. Let's start with Bandar Abbas. Bandar Abbas is being isolated from Iran right now. All major land routes, roads, bridges, rail are under heavy targeting. The critical Bandar Kamir Bridge was blown a while ago. Signs point to a coordinated operation cutting off the strategic port that handles 85 to 90% of Iran's containers and 55% of its imports. No reliable roads or rail means the regime can't effectively move around in this extreme heat. The rough terrain to support Bandar Abbas on the nearby islands, as the Islamic Republic does not have a real air support. Islands nearby the area are being bombed. We might see a small ground operation, naval maneuver into the Strait of Hormuz, or both. Yeah, this is what I think we're seeing the preparations for. Ultimately, is the realization that we're going to have to take Qasim Island, Hormuz Island. There's a couple other islands here. One of them is a UAE island that the Iranians seized. This is where I would expect to see ground operations, right? Places where you could limit the potential for Iranian ground troops to be to action, right? And that would actually make sense, Joe. I mean, don't you think?
Yeah, and it would make 100% sense. And Allegan News asked, did they blow up the train tracks like to China? Yes, several days ago, we hit that bridge. So, yeah, we want to get that island back. There's going to be it's going to be costly to do any of that, though, Scott. I think it's going to be.
I think you're right, and I think what's going to happen is you're going to have a guarantee from the Gulf states to provide troops.
Yeah,
I think, it's like, listen, we know you guys aren't fighters. You're lovers, not fighters, over there in the Arab Peninsula. But we're going to need you to dust off your old swords and your camels.
Even
and
if
things
we
like
tell
that.
them, hey, look, we'll take the island, but you have to occupy it.
Right. Yeah. We're not hanging around. You come in on the second wave and you stick around, whereas we get to adios. And I Joe, I think that's probably I don't want any of our guys to get involved on the ground. That's my going into position. But if they do get involved, that's the way I could probably see
in
it.
and out and replace them with somebody else
with a clear objective, and then follow on forces. And hell, the Saudis and the UAE, they're basically just going to pay a bunch of Colombians to do it for them. But ultimately,
the UAE has a contractor brigade, or so I've heard. I wouldn't know anything about it.
Exactly right. I wouldn't know anything about the UAE generals that were born in Missouri, Arkansas, and Michigan.
Right. Rick Duke of Malta, that bridge has been repaired, is operational again. That's an Iranian statement. No one has seen a train cross that. You're not going to run a 400 and something ton train across that bridge that fast. Not going to happen.
Yeah. Let's see. The U.S. military began multiple airstrikes against the bridges in Iran. So we got some video here on this next post. Watcher, if you want to move on to the next one. Best they missed the rain. What are you talking about? People leave Missouri and go to places like UAE so they never have to see rain ever again.
He is talking about Iran, and there's new information just coming out within the past few seconds. Jennifer Griffin putting out that this is a new phase of the escalating military strikes, the sixth night. Based on various reports and well-placed sources, the U.S. has targeted roads and bridges based around Bandar Abbas, and it's significant because it cuts the IRGC off from resupply and isolates them. Bandar Abbas is key to controlling the Strait of Hormuz. Many strikes tonight, again, from our Pentagon and National Security correspondent. So a lot happening in Iran. Let's bring in our panel. Hugh Hewitt, Fox News contributor, Olivia Beavers of the Wall Street Journal, and Robert Wolf is also a Fox News contributor. Hugh, I want to start with you and the significance of what we're seeing of this escalation on its sixth night and some of that news about the IRGC being cut off.
It's very significant, Brett, and I'm glad the president is going to focus on Iran, at least in part, and I hope mostly the majority of his speech is focused on the fact that we are in a combat situation right now. When he takes to the airwaves in about an hour or so, there will be American pilots almost certainly in the skies over Iran and over the Strait. There are a score of Navy ships enforcing the blockade. We boarded, as was said earlier in the broadcast, a vessel that was trying to run the embargo earlier tonight. I think it's vital that the president keep that in mind, that American servicemen and women are in harm's way when he's on the air. So whatever.
All right, so let's move on to the next one here.
I want to point something out though about that video of the Raiders. Yeah. Those were Marine Raiders on board that ship, and I want to point out the absolute baller move. One of them had a flag rolled up on his gear.
Yep.
Yeah. And he's going to send that flag to someone back home and say, "I carried this," and that right there is a hero, man. That's good stuff.
As long as we're saying stuff before we move on, can I just say I did not expect that guy with the white hair's voice to sound like that before he opened his mouth. That was kind of, anyhow.
Yeah, Hugh Hewlett is not a man's man, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, right. I want to point out here that flag is probably a flag that was on someone else's coffin, and now it's on a dude's gear to honor that dude, and that's kind of cool.
Well, and a lot of times they'll take flags into combat, knowing that if somebody falls, when you cover them, you put that flag over them, so over the body bag, to kind of. All right, let's see. Moving on, Iran has reportedly struck the Bapco oil refinery in Bahrain while launching missile and drone attacks against the U.S. military assets all over the region. Iranian drones reportedly destroyed $5 million worth of U.S. HIMARS launcher in Kuwait. That was from a couple days ago. The offensive follows heavy U.S. strikes across southern Iran, with Iran state media says American forces targeted 6 civilian bridges, more than that now. I get the feeling this might be an older.
How do you determine that a bridge is civilian versus military?
Well, because it's the propaganda, Joe. I mean,
What is the purpose of the United States interstate highway system?
For civilian, for me to go on vacation, Joe.
Yeah, that's so not it. But that's
how else am I going to get to Buc-ee's? I mean, you have to use the interstate to get to Buc-ee's.
Right.
The Buc-ee's are American propaganda centers and logistic fuel supply points.
Yeah.
The attacks came just hours after the IRGC warned that any U.S. strike on the Iranian infrastructure would be met with destruction of every last piece of infrastructure across the region. Oh, really? Let's see how that worked out. While the Houthis reiterated threats to shut down the Bab al-Mandab Strait, they can't do that. They actually don't have the ability to do that anymore. In Qatar, reports claim the Iranian missile struck Al-Duhail camp in the outskirts of Doha with loud explosions. In Bahrain, reports also claim that missiles hit the Hamala camp, not to be associated with the Kamala camp, meaning the presidential, which houses U.S. forces as well as another U.S. military installation. Two AH-64 Apaches were seen operating in Bahrain during the latest drone strikes. Arab media further reports Iranian missile strikes King Fahd causeway linking Bahrain and Saudi Arabia. Yeah, I saw the reports that causeway had been hit, but I hear the damage was very light. All right, moving on.
Well, shoot, I was going to try and find it because I did see a pretty good meme about shutting down the strait again.
But can I just, I'm sorry, I really apologize for this. I get distracted by a squirrel, but sometimes it's worthwhile, and it's a picture of a girl in a bikini, hitting a golf ball. But other times it's something worthwhile sharing. Joe, I want to share this. Speaking of high T, low T militaries, let me share my screen here. This is what you would call, this is the equipment of a high T military right here. At the stage,
I know it's about to be something ridiculous.
No, I'm just saying. No. I mean, it was better times. Remove, add. Here we go. Look at that, Joe. Look at that. That is high.
Oh yeah, there's CAR-15.
Oh yeah. I just feel like I every time I see stuff like this, I just start hearing Painted Black, in the background.
Look, man, the LC1 suspender system was like legit, and that's good stuff right there.
Now, the only flaw that I see here is a lack of a butt pack there in the middle versus this little deal. But this is one of those Stabo rigs, I'm pretty sure. You know, the Vietnam era Stabo rigs.
Yep.
That it actually went through your legs like a Swiss seat.
Oh, yeah, you can tell with the D-rings on it, right?
Right. So, I mean, maybe
and
that
the hooks are there on the bottom by the canteens. So,
well, the irony is they've got magazines inside these extra canteen covers here, which is kind of interesting. I've never seen
a lot of dudes found that it would hold more.
Yeah. No sea rats. That's true. All right. Anyway, I just that was a complete no need for me to share that. Just saw it and I wanted to share it. All right, back to destroying Iran. Let's see here. We got the drones getting involved in the fight. Beyond U.S.-made Lucas drones, Iran's port of Bandar Abbas was also hit by a UAE production. So this is good to see UAE's actually getting in the fight. UAE's kamikaze drones. The UAE secretly struck Iran territory multiple times, but still won't acknowledge its direct role. Yeah. I mean, I don't blame them, right? No, like it's one thing for America to strut around because we're the cock of the walk, but ultimately, UAE needs to kind of minimize its role, and I don't blame them.
Yeah. That's an interesting looking drone. Looks like a Klingon warship, but
I know, right? It's kind of. I mean, let's be honest. Everybody knows from old school Star Trek, the Klingon ships were always the coolest looking ships.
Klingons are the Romulans. I'm not sure. I mean, a lot of their ships were the same, but the Romulan bird of prey was a little bit different.
Well, if I have to say, my favorite all-time Star Trek ship. This is another opportunity to share something completely different on the show here. Let's see.
Derail the show, you mean?
Yeah, 100%. I don't mind. Hey, we're already demonetized because of the pew pew from earlier.
Yeah. Medium altitude, long endurance, or male UAV. It's long and hard, and it goes boom. Terrible.
Oh yeah. Here we go. This is absolutely my favorite ship in the Star Trek canon that I can let's see. Yep, there you go. The bird of prey. That is a bitchin' bird right there. Definitely my favorite, but. And it doesn't have to be everybody's favorite, but I like the D7. That was the old school, this. I think the D7's cool, but the bird of prey just kind of,
Well, the D7 was a little bit longer, right?
Yeah. That was what is it? The Star Trek, the first movie had D7s in it, but that goes back to the original series. All right, I'm sorry. I derailed the show yet again. Moving on. More drone stuff here. So Iran decides they're going to use their drones. CENTCOM has released footage showing the destruction of an Iranian Air Force Comet 99 one-way attack drone while it was being towed along the runway at the 10th Tactical Fighter Base in Charbar. Southeastern Iran. This is unclear why the drone was being moved in the open, despite the apparent risk, given that U.S. Army Air Force MQ-9A Reaper armed drones were operating over the airbase. Yeah, let's just do that because why not? Watcher, any thoughts on operating your drones? I know you're our drone drone correspondent.
My only thought is is that one of those? I don't think it is. Look, it's a lot more slender. Oh, well, that's just the trailer.
Okay. Yeah. I was gonna say it does have the canards and the wing shape. So
sorry, we were invaded by the French. We have suppressed their rebellion and sent them back on their way.
Are you talking about my outrageous projection?
They came in to say thanks. So. In true French fashion, they were loud and obnoxious, but they were on their way.
Well, it happens. It happens. All
But yeah, I think it's a idiotic mistake to be moving any kind of munitions in the open at the moment. They haven't controlled their own airspace for what, 6 months?
I don't know. It's a 3-month bike ride down the mountain, so good luck.
Oh, sorry, no, he was. I was going back to the question he asked me while you were gone.
Oh,
Which was, what do I think about them? Take a look at this, Joe. They were trying to move one of their drones just out in the open.
yeah, I saw that. Yeah, that was
All right, moving on. Let's see what we got next year. U.S. and Iran continue exchanging strikes tonight, including reported strikes on multiple bridges near Bandar Abbas and Iranian missile drone attacks targeting U.S. assets. So we already talked about that. Let's see, flight tracker includes a P-8A Poseidon, multiple U.S. Air Force KC-135 Stratotankers, a KC-46 Pegasus, aerial refueling aircraft, as well as unidentified U.S. Air Force aircraft orbiting over the United Arab Emirates. This represents only a portion of the overall air picture, as many military aircraft, are not visible on public flight tracking. Kind of surprising that even in theater, I guess it makes sense because they're probably, deconflicting with civilian airliners and whatnot. But you know what? I gotta say that I've never seen Stargate SG-1. Though Joe, did you ever watch Star Trek Enterprise?
negative. I am an original series guy or nothing.
So I've heard by my friends who are massive Star Trek fans that Enterprise was the last good Star Trek, right? Like it went woke and stupid after that. And so I've just recently started to give it a go, but it seems all right thus far. We'll see. Hey, by the way, did you see the Hello Kitty money shorts that I guess I'm gonna have to wear now at the?
We all got tagged in it.
Those. But that came from Wednesday's show when we were talking about you and a proprietary camouflage pattern, and Jim said, "You mean Hello Kitty and $100 bills?"
I knew I had missed out on something, but that was really funny, and I definitely.
But you know what we found out late last night? Looking at the photos that AAA Tactical sent.
Yeah.
The inseam on my shorts does appear to be very short, so
they went from a 5-inch inseam to like a 3-inch inseam.
Yeah. There is some risk of spillage. We'll see what happens.
Let's see. AAA Tactical 22 minutes ago just posted. He said, "Look, Joe Dolio's pretty shorts adverse from what I gather, but he's going to get out on a stage in Mountain Radius West in front of a crowd of people in shorts for the first time. If he can do it, anybody can. Scott will be joining him too." Yes, that's exactly right. I'm looking forward to it. Those shorts. I saw the picture of the and they're on their way. I will share them on Monday's show if it comes over the weekend. We'll see. $10 from Limey G says Scott's Hello Kitty shorts epic. Yep. I mean, I'll be honest with you. I saw the mock-up. I'd definitely wear those. If
I would wear them, they were pretty cool, man.
Joe,
I've been thinking a signature camo.
Well, I was thinking a Hawaiian shirt with that pattern on it would be awesome.
That would be good. Man, it's gonna be good.
Yeah. I know in the audience you either know you're coming or know you're not coming to Mountain Readiness, and if you're not coming, you're definitely going to be missing out. I'm here to tell you. So we wish you were here, but we'll see. Yeah, by the way, Blaine, I'm with you. DS9 was the best Trek. I totally agree. Yeah. Earl of Corgi says yes. Enterprise was the last of the Treks. It's already on its way to going woke, but wasn't destroyed yet. Yeah, I'm open-minded for old stuff, but we'll see. All right, moving on. Let's see, what do we got
This is a
next
beautiful
here?
site right here.
Yeah, so this is the tower at I think this is Bandar Abbas,
Yeah.
or is this Charbar? Yeah, this is the surveillance tower at Charbar. This is the Indian Indian paid for tower, not no mo.
Oh, I thought it was the Obama library. Huh.
It was well, we can.
Bears a resemblance. It bears a resemblance.
The surveillance tower is part of the maritime surveillance network along Iran's Gulf of Oman coast. By the way, watcher, it's funny that let me. I'm going to share a link in the private chat here, and you can kind of go straight to this one because this is video of that tower.
Ooh.
So you can see the video, like, yeah, if you pause it here, you can see the tower, and this is it getting essentially
the term is
removed.
Schwacked.
Yeah, schwacked. Technical term.
Right at the base. Oh, man.
The destruction of the tower directly. This is from the CENTCOM post. It says, let's see, part of the maritime surveillance network along Iran's Gulf coast of Oman. Coastline used for decades by the IRGC to track and target commercial vessels transiting the Strait of Hormuz. The destruction of the tower directly degrades the IRGC's ability to coordinate attacks on innocent civilian crew members. Furthermore, the strike protects freedom of navigation in regional waters for all vessels except for ships attempting to violate the ongoing U.S. naval blockade. By the way, Joe, I have not heard from at one time of any ship hitting a mine in the Straits of Hormuz. Have you heard yet?
No, none have hit a mine. All of the ones that I know of, and I'm getting a lot more info than is out there in the public, they're all getting hit by projectiles. So no mines.
So it makes me think that the mine threat was always kind of overblown and
hold on.
essentially
That's a bridge too far. Are you telling me the Iranians lied?
Whoa, hold on a minute.
Hey.
A minute here.
Come on. Claim Iranian forces claim they attacked Atanaf garrison in Syria and I'm just reading through other CENTCOM stuff from the last hour or so. Captured or killed American troops in the process. False. No U.S. troops in the region have been killed or captured. Now, what they didn't say is Atanaf wasn't attacked.
Yeah.
Let's see. All right. Anyway, moving on. Let's see. Pete Hedseth here.
Listen, when you all get here,
that was okay. That was the tower going down. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I'm reading some of the comments in the chat. Listen, when you all get here, you should put on some sort of a sticker with your Twitter or chat handle on it so people know who you are.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea, actually.
Yeah. You can put your first name and then underneath it in quotation marks. You can
Hello,
put your.
My name is Dick Baggins.
Yeah.
Well, the funny thing is you guys all know my name, and even when I've told people my name, they didn't even recognize me. So I'm like, well. All right. This is a footage of a coalition Patriot SAM battery fighting off a major Iranian ballistic missile attack on Bahrain earlier this evening. Here's the thing. Here's the dirty secret that a lot of people don't want you to know. The Patriot missile is doing excellent in the Gulf region. The problem is the number of Patriots it takes to be excellent, right? We have a shot doctrine of 2 to 1, but they're getting a lot more discriminate, I think, on like what they're shooting at. Like, so if a missile looks like it's gonna come close to a target, then they shoot. But if it's going to be 10 kilometers the other way, then they don't shoot.
Just let it land in the desert. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. IRGC. Let's see. Is this the same thing? It kind of the same thing. I think you're showing. This is more of the Bahrain missile show that was going on. Before we get into the main China segment, I thought this was interesting. China expressed its displeasure with Iran after reports leaked about the poor performance of its most heavily promoted weaponry. The Beijing reportedly supplied 3 HQ-9B air defense systems, which were destroyed by the United States, a setback that could impact future Chinese arms sales. No shit. Well, let's be honest. Here's the thing, right? If China just gave them Chinese weapons, they're probably nerfed and operated by the Iranians. But if it's the best of the best, which they have known to do in various other regions, which is we're going to give you the full Chinese version, but our guys are going to be operating it, right? Like our Chinese civilian contractors.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting when things like, for instance, in Venezuela, they proved that there were Chinese contractors were killed at the sites of these Chinese stealth, radar detection sites.
Well, I think that in this case, they probably didn't. They probably just gave it to him because they knew the longevity of it. And so if I gave some kid from Cameroon a Ferrari, do you think he's going to be able to operate it properly?
Yeah, it's just one of those kind of things where it doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but at the same time, that's where we don't know. Ultimately, I'm saying we don't know if this was a detuned or older version because these things have been around for a while, right?
D-something 2837. So it's a copy of a Soviet design launcher. Yeah, welcome to Chinese missile development.
Yeah. It's basically a copy of the S-300, which, as we know, has been like the
less than stellar
in Russian hands, right? And now you can argue that many of the Russian soldiers aren't trained very well, but for the most part, their professional missile defense force are some of their best, but it ultimately didn't matter. These Chinese missiles, we don't know if they were operated by Chinese, if they were up to date and all that kind of stuff.
I don't think it would have mattered.
I don't think it would have mattered. I mean, it's a shitty copy of what is proven to be a shitty Russian system.
So tell me, how many Chinese weapon systems are original Chinese designs? The answer is pretty close to zero.
Right.
Almost none. Yeah.
Well, and even their jet engines, right? Like it was only in recent years where they could even make their own jet engines versus having to import jet engines from, for their fighter jets from Russia. They are significantly behind on weapons tech in a lot of ways. But what they're doing is they're just making a lot of it. And so, mass kicks ass, I guess that's the Speaking of kicking ass, we got the Marines here. This is the kind of the broader story and full footage of this vessel clearing.
Must on the deck. Yeah.
CENTCOM just announced the U.S. Marines are boarding ships in the Straits of Hormuz to enforce Donald Trump's blockade. Bless these patriots, the commentator says. This was a post by Eric Doherty. CENTCOM says, as of today, American forces have redirected 3 commercial vessels trying to run the blockade, disabled 1 that didn't comply, boarded 1 to ensure full compliance with ongoing U.S. naval blockade against Iran. Trump says, we don't like what they're doing, and they do want to settle. We'll find out whether or not we will settle with them or you'll just finish them off. Yes. The Marines are doing it.
I love the giant no smoking sign on the ship.
Well, the other thing, I mean, anything to get a good photo op for sure, and this is definitely providing a lot of good photo ops. So, let's see. Moving on to some more pictures here of the operation. Little Huey action reminds me back at Nam.
Yeah, Marines still use the Huey.
And a Black Hawk, though. You got both.
That's not a Black Hawk. That's a Seahawk.
Well,
way cooler.
I'm not going to argue with you, but ultimately it's derived from the same bird, and ultimately not.
I understand that, but that's a Seahawk.
When we paint it gray, it turns into a Seahawk.
Yes,
that's right.
Exactly
that's
right.
Way better.
I'm glad you agree.
All right. Let's see. More video here. Not a whole lot of new info here, but just cool to this last one here. You could keep reading, keep showing this video if you want, Watcher, and I'll just read this. A sailor told the U.S. forces to fuck off over Marine radio after they broadcast that the southern route through the Straits of Hormuz remains open, according to recording reviewed by the Wall Street Journal. The frustration came after CENTCOM repeatedly said, hey, the U.S.-backed southern corridor remains open. However, marine traffic data shows that all 9 commercial vessels that transited the Straits on Wednesday used Iran's northern traffic separation scheme, while the U.S.-backed southern route through Omani waters recorded no visible commercial traffic. Sentinel-2 satellite imagery showed the minimal activity with only 2 tankers visible in the strait. So one of the things that the reporters clearly trying to give the administration a black eye, they're not reporting, is that most of the ships that are transiting are turning their their tracking system off so that they aren't visible. All right. So this was in. I thought this next stuff was kind of interesting. I got a couple of posts on this with a lot of pictures. Syria seized a big shipment of Iranian weapons crossing from Iraq intended for Hezbollah in Lebanon. 100 fiber optic drones, dozen of anti-tank missiles, large drone components inside of an empty oil tanker. These are dozens of Iraqi oil tankers crossing into Syria every day. So this means that PMF was directly involved. The PMF is the Popular Mobilization Front forces in Iraq that basically are providing local security in Iraq and in parts of Iran to help. Let's see, what else do we got here?
It looks like bodies wrapped in plastic. I'm not even.
I think those are like Javelin kind of, anti-tank missiles, ATGMs. Yeah. The type of weapon intended for Hezbollah suggests that Iran probably intends to wage war of attrition against Israel in Lebanon and is giving itself the means to do so. Note the weaponry in question is the top of the Iranian industry. Yeah, that's the other thing that I thought was interesting about this too, is that in a time when they're getting hit really hard, they're shipping the best stuff that they can make out to these other kind of areas, and that just goes to show you how desperate they are too. I believe. And if they caught one, then that means probably
how many more
15 or 20 have gotten through. The drivers of the Iraqi oil tankers have been stuck for hours in the scorching sun. Let's see. When the dog finally wakes up, check out the amount of weapons coming out of the tankers and with the sun. Yeah. Pretty interesting. So anyway, this is an interesting development. They continue to smuggle weapons through into Lebanon. Lebanon will continue to be the one bright thing coming out of Lebanon is the fact that the Lebanese military is absolutely woken up and committed to holding the areas south of Litani after transitioning those sites from the Israelis over to the Lebanese army. So that's a good kind of good news story that's come out. All right, gentlemen. This next one is, this one won't go quickly, I'm sure.
これは第三世界の国よりひどい。こんな選挙をやる第三世界の国なんて存在しない。奴らが西側を憎むのは西側が偉大だからだ。我々は奴らにできないこと、そして奴らがなれないものを思い知らせる存在なのだ。アメリカの有権者データが外国政府の手に渡っている。許されない。
psyop
It
anime
sounds
continues.
better in Japanese.
It continues to be literally hours behind the real world. So the first criticism I see under that post is that you're just using AI generated anime slop to spread Trump's bullshit. And I mean,
Okay.
it works pretty well. All right, let's see what we got next here. So if you didn't see, Trump made a primetime address to the nation with 9 p.m. Eastern, carried on all the major networks except for a few, NBC and ABC, and we'll talk about that here in a minute. But he basically called out all the things that we've been saying for a long time. Now, Trump's been talking about election problems and things like this for a while. The problem is that I always kind of saw his criticism as like, they're cheating against me, not that they're cheating, right? So because I see Trump as ultimately being ego focused. This is a little different. He's actually naming the culprits as to who's in charge. Now, we all, traditionally political arguments focus on political scapegoats, right? Well, this is the first time that he's drawn real national security lines with this, and having a foreign external actor being the main. Now, you could say, oh, well, the Democrats talked about Russia. And yeah, Russia has always influenced U.S. elections. China probably has also influenced U.S. elections. But for the first time, they are putting together a thesis that China not only is influencing our elections, but they are absolutely abrogating the validity of our elections. Let's go ahead and listen to this clip.
The Chinese government sought to identify U.S. journalists who had reported negatively on the U.S. president and pay them large sums of money to write more negative articles about him, as many as they could, and they didn't care what they said. The Chinese government wanted U.S. president to lose the next election. And the reason they wanted me to lose is because they knew I was wise to them, charged them billions and billions of dollars worth of tariffs, and built the strongest military anywhere in the world. We have the strongest military anywhere in the world. These are exact quotes from the CIA reporting. The name of the person doing the quote is now under review, but it gets even worse. Raw intelligence obtained by the FBI in 2020, yet buried by rogue bureaucrats, stated that China's activities even included an attempt to manufacture illegal ballots for Joe Biden. Documents show that during this period, dozens of significant CIA and NSA reports about China's election targeting were kept out of the presidential briefing. These were briefings I would get almost every day. Everything was kept out that was of importance. One email among intelligence analysts admitted that they had, quote, deliberately massaged the presidential daily briefing to withhold information regarding Chinese activities related to the election. Another official inside the FBI wrote that she was running, quote, a shadow government, unquote, to keep intelligence about China's election meddling from becoming known and to keep it away from the honorable press. Other officials who...
All right. So basically, the press was being suborned by the Chinese. I think this is not a surprise to people that watch this channel, but this is not the kind of thing that I was expecting Trump to come right out and say, which is good. This is good.
My biggest question is, and then what? Right? What are we going to do about it? And
yeah, no,
great to lay out there and name names, but my question is, and then what?
Yeah. Well, and so if this is the big, if it sounds like there's been some sort of investigation underway, and let me just give the benefit of the doubt to the administration first, right? Because what's the point of saying this stuff unless you're going to do something? So I'm going to assume that they have A, been doing something, B, are going to continue to do something, and eventually will come up with some sort of a course of action. You know, I think this is the right. If all that is true, then this is the right step. But like you said, Joe, if it ultimately comes to nothing and nobody serves a day in jail because of this, then I want to see journalists in jail. I want to see people in these companies involved in the voting machines in jail. I want to see vote workers who are allowing this to happen at the local and regional level in jail. And I want to see the Democratic operatives that are taking Chinese money to go to jail. All right, so I thought this is
Tim Walz.
Well, Tim Walz doesn't need to go to jail. He needs to go to a rotary blade machine is what he needs to go to.
An impeller, so to speak. Yes.
All right. So I like this because it kind of like breaks down what was kind of in the speech. So basically it says here, 220 million election records are compromised by China. The deep state downplayed the evidence. China perpetuated other interference. China influenced the 2018 and 2020 elections. The strategy includes the use of Chinese operatives inside the U.S. corporations. China wanted Trump to lose. China's activities included manufactured ballots in favor of Biden. The knowledge of these activities was withheld from the President of the United States, Trump. A shadow government worked actively to conceal this information. Information was found in burn bags ordered by the Obama administration to be destroyed. Burn bags were found likely due to incompetence. Trump has ordered intel agencies to investigate these findings. Americans were blatantly lied to about all these facts and vulnerabilities. Documents were being released that proved U.S. officials knew the compromise in our election infrastructure. Voter registration databases, election systems, and tabulation systems are all compromised and vulnerable to manipulation. Evidence of a plot to favor Maduro in Venezuela. Digital manipulation of elections without ability to detect the evidence. Evidence buried or covered up. Large-scale voter corruption operation in Michigan. Surprise, surprise, surprise. Affidavits of election officials in Michigan proving pay-to-play crimes. Biden administration showed walked all investigations. Investigation by DHS showed 278,000 non-citizens voting in our election. China, Venezuela, and other countries are involved. California election just finished being counted more than 1 month after the election was conducted. ABC and NBC refused to cover this announcement as they were involved in the plot. Great damage was done to our elections, therefore our country. This is a national emergency. Trump administration is notifying states that were impacted, taking swift action. DHS will make the announcements tomorrow about potential issues and next steps forward. All right, so this is all good stuff. And this ultimately leads to the Save America Act, I think, being like the one piece of legislation that could really make a difference in our elections right now, because it is a federal law. It would be a federal law that would affect all states and all elections. I'm not a big fan of like, oh, one thing can fix it and everything will be taken care of. But I do believe the Save America Act is a large step in the right direction as far as voter reform. But it needs to happen state by state. But Democratic states will never change.
Democratic in air quotes.
Democrat states, right? Yeah. Versus Democratic, right? And if that wasn't far enough out on the limb for you, here's Laura Logan. Make no mistake, the speech was the opening salvo in a much bigger plan. All right, now anytime somebody like Laura Logan tells me there's a plan, I get leery.
Trust the plan.
Right. Still, we're early enough in this to where I'm willing to listen. President Trump just called out the CIA and the deep state. Here are the targets that he laid out: China, deep state, lying media, corporations paid by China, rogue bureaucrats, traitors inside the intelligence, traitors inside the FBI, traitors inside the DOJ, Barack Hussein O'Donnell. Now, I'm not hearing anything here that is that, Joe, these are all people that you and I agree are freaking enemies of the state, and we know they exist. Specifically, like traitors inside the FBI and the DOJ. I would go so far as just to say the FBI and the DOJ. Assuming there may be good people, but they are
good people are far outnumbered by the other.
Some of them, I assume, are good people.
All right. Anyway, her list is long, and I don't disagree with much of it. But at the same time, it's like, well, what do you it's like when. Earl Corgi for $19.99 says, "Gent's been fun, but got to get my morning started. Only have 3 days left in San Antonio." Hey, I tell you what, San Antonio, great city.
Go down to the Riverwalk. Enjoy it.
Yeah. Let's see. Let's move on, shall we?
Today I'm asking.
All right, go ahead.
Today, I'm asking the Office of the Director of National Intelligence, the Department of Justice, the FBI, and the CIA to investigate how and why such crucial information was hidden, to fire those involved in the cover-up, and to file criminal charges, if appropriate, against these people. Today, I'm asking.
So, I mean, that is a legitimate course of action, and probably now. The question is, will it occur? And the answer is,
the President of the United States, he doesn't have to ask them to do things. He should tell them to do things.
Right. But you know how it is. It's like, I'm sorry, it was not a request. That was an order. I just phrased it as nicely as possible for public clip. Catherine Herridge, who has done a great job as an independent reporter, since breaking away from the big mainstream media. Tonight, POTUS declassified records about the Chinese Communist Party's multi-domain influence operations in 2020. CCP used all elements of government power, trade. Now, she is not saying the CCP reportedly used. No, she is saying the CCP used emphatically, which is interesting that a journalist would say that. So that tells you something. Used all elements of government power, trade, diplomacy, social media, and open source reporting to undermine his reelection. President Trump called it the largest compromise of election data in history, resulting in China's acquisition of 200 million U.S. voter files. Note, CCP could use this data for multiple purposes: voter fraud, identity theft, to target Americans for recruitment. President Trump said the Chinese influence operation was intentionally suppressed by elements of the U.S. intelligence community and withheld from him. In April, I reported on the whistleblower complaint that is central to the Chinese election influence and meddling allegations. For speaking up about the bias and suppression of intelligence, the whistleblower was severely retaliated against. And so this is really interesting. This is exactly the kind of reporting that we actually need. This is a reporter who is actually following the story, and this is one of immense impact to us all. This is why we keep saying things like, you can't vote your way out of this, because people that the Chinese control the elections.
Yeah.
Blaine says the fact that they manipulated the data and suppressed it from the president should concern everyone, every American.
Oh, and the fact that there was not a single whistleblower from inside any of these agencies while that was happening.
Well, like when there was a whistleblower, like Catherine Herridge has reported, he gets severely, retaliated against. So it's not like there were none. It's just there were, but they were attacked relentlessly. All right, let's listen to old POTUS again.
Agencies began learning about the compromise of voter registration files in 2020 when they discovered that tens of millions of voter data, think of that, tens of millions of voters' data in 18 states have been bought, stolen, or hacked by China. U.S. spy agencies.
Yep. So, he was just kind of reiterating exactly what she was saying there.
Got another clip next.
I'm just trying to. Yeah. All right, go ahead.
The world's most famous sore loser will deliver a primetime presidential sour grapes address.
The president is free to say whatever the president wants to say. There's a lot of speculation that he's going to take it back to 2020. I'm one who's always looking forward and
Boy,
saving
she
the
sounds
rearview
scared.
mirror.
I've seen a lot of reporting and frankly misreporting about what the president will say. I think the American people will be relieved to hear what they are hearing from the president.
Well, the president says he's going to make news with new intelligence documents about the 2020 election. He says in this speech that he's going to talk about election integrity, but that's not all. He's also going to talk about Iran, and he's going to talk about the way forward with the U.S. economy. Reuters has that ABC and NBC will not air the president's election security speech on broadcast networks.
The world.
So, yeah.
NBC, CBS, ABC face mass calls to have their FCC privilege licenses re-examined or revoked after they refused to air President Trump's primetime bombshell address surrounding elections tonight. Are they colluding, or is it just not news? Yeah, of course they're saying it's just not news because they are they're in the tank. They are absolutely in the tank for the other side. Let's see. This goes on to the next one here. Watcher, I think this is one of the ones that you threw in here.
Yeah, this was just interesting. A lot of people zeroed in on somebody. People are still checking over because they released thousands of documents last night, thousands of pages of documents, right? But one of the things that caught people's attention almost immediately was one of the things in which somebody, Miss Nikki Flores, who was at the FBI, literally says, "I'm basically running a shadow government across the FBI at this point." During the middle of, trying to figure out and secure a way to make sure that Democrats would win the election, no matter what happened against the will of the American people. So they go through and they give you a pretty good oversight through this about who she is and who she was in charge of and the types of work that she did and the way that she was literally on. Do you remember how we've talked on several occasions about how the Democrats had a big meeting where they did full on war games, where they basically war gamed out exactly how they would do. Yeah, she was one of the main people involved in that. And then now this has come out that she was admitting that she was running a shadow government. And then guess where she landed, Scott, after she left the FBI when Trump took over?
I have no idea.
Well, turns out she went over to Microsoft and became their head of internal threat detection, and was literally the person in charge of giving China access to multiple different Microsoft servers that had access to highly classified government intelligence and projects on them. Personally.
Shocking.
I mean, nothing surprised me at that point anymore. This is another one that you added in here. Yes, read it. This is about the shadow government agent at the FBI. They highlights ongoing significant necessity of the Russiagate lies to project the protection of the Bidens from being called out on the overseas financial activities. Pay particular attention to this point of info on Chinese election interference was concealed at least partly by because it involved China. That's because the Biden family's extensive links to China. Note the intel on China's interference activities was characterized in an effort to at suppression and whitewashing as Russian disinformation. So this is really interesting. I mean, if you guys remember back to the Biden, the famous Hunter Biden and Joe Biden trip to China, so it's almost like there's a lot of this coming full circle. And I just, the problem, the thing that I see politicians doing with this is saying, listen, this is so big. It's too big to fail. You know what I mean? Like, we can't actually go after everybody who did something wrong on this. So, we're going to need some sort of truth and reconciliation or whatever. And then it will just all move on, which ultimately means moving back to where we were. back in 2016 when the Russia hoax basically started before Trump even took office. So let's see what else do we have here. Let's see. This next one here, declassified CIA note, Chinese headhunted American journalists and paid them extra for negative coverage on Trump. The Chinese government wanted U.S. president to lose the next election. Separately, in mid-2019, the Chinese government strategy against the United States was focused on the undermining of domestic confidence in the U.S. president. The strategy included efforts to use Chinese contracts within big U.S. companies to influence U.S. business leaders to turn against the U.S. president. Chinese government sought to identify U.S. journalists who had reported negatively on the U.S. president and pay them to write more negative articles about him. Chinese government wanted the U.S. president to lose the next election. And this couldn't have anything to do with the suppression of the Hunter Biden laptop and all the other weird shit that was going on during that election cycle.
Crazy,
Shocking
right?
how it all kind of connects. It makes a whole lot of sense now.
Yep.
Let's see. Let's move on.
We end with post from maybe the worst account on X.
Yeah, this is our last
Spencer
one
Eagleman.
here. Yeah, so but let's be honest. Once again, he's like a lot of these broken clocks. There's so much right out there. Even the shitty accounts are getting it right. And he's not wrong here. CNN is melting down. Trump releasing new declassified intel on China's election interference and voting machine vulnerabilities, and the media's panicking. They've spent years calling it baseless and conspiracy, but now suddenly freak out when the president provides evidence and demands real integrity. So real quick, before we play this, I just watched the Joe Rogan, JD Vance interview, and I thought it was excellent. I recommend, if you guys want to hear kind of get a peek into JD Vance in a long form interview, this is a good one. I think he speaks well of himself. I don't agree with everything he says in it, but at the same time, I think it's one of those kind of things. I mean, if you find a politician you agree with everything, then maybe there's something wrong there. But ultimately, one of the things that Joe Rogan said that I thought was really interesting was that, like, it wasn't until the Spencer Pratt election recently that he actually realized how shady and crooked our elections are. And the point that he made, this is Joe Rogan, not what you would call an arch conservative here. He said that when Spencer Pratt was neck and neck with what's her name, the Bass, Carolyn Bass, right? And the third place, Navia, whatever, she was a distant third. After the election, that's on election day. Then the election ballots come in, and it's just enough to put her over Spencer Pratt. But guess what? Both Spencer Pratt and Carolyn Bass were equally unrepresented. Now, you could say, oh, well, Republican voters don't vote, don't do mail-in ballots, or don't do those types of ballots. But Democrat voters do. And wouldn't Carolyn Bass be equally represented? No, it's because they absolutely cheated that election. And so that was the election that kind of woke guys like Joe Rogan up. And so they talked at length about election integrity. And I think there's a kind of growing understanding that this is absolutely now, guys like us, we all knew this. Joe, like we were saying, you can't vote your way out of this a long time ago. But I think you're now starting to see a lot of those moderate kind of Democrats who have started supporting Republicans realize it as well. So let's listen to what CNN is flipping out over now. No audio.
Oh.
You stopped her at a great moment, though.
Yeah, she opens with the abject lie, so it's interesting.
As a president who has an approval rating stuck in the 30s and who faces what appears to be losses in the midterms, and we'll see, because an election's an election, people get to vote. He has made it his mission to cast doubt on that upcoming election, right? That's what all those things add up to. And damage may already have been done. repeatedly saying that America's elections are rigged and broken and dirty, has eroded confidence in the bedrock of American democracy. It has already done damage. Kevin Liptak is out front live outside the White House. And Kevin, what more are you learning about what Trump is going to say about elections tonight?
Yeah, we now understand, Aaron, there are a few major buckets that the president plans to address in this speech. And one is this question of foreign interference. The president does plan to reveal what he says will be new information about foreign attempts to influence or interfere in U.S. elections, and in particular from China. Now, this is a question that has been relitigated over and over, including in that 2021 intelligence assessment. But the president will say that he has new information on that front. We also understand that the president plans to address this question of election systems vulnerability, including voting machines. Again, an area that has been repeatedly the subject of conspiracies, often fueled by President Trump himself. You know, the president has talked about this so much and hasn't been able to furnish any proof for his claims. The difference, according to White House officials in this speech, is that he will be providing evidence, and that evidence will be provided to the American people. It has been the product of this months-long work by a task force. It was headed by the conservative journalist John Solomon to go through intelligence, find areas that can be declassified. It was fueled along by the new acting director of national intelligence, Bill Pulte, who, when he came into this position, worked to find documents that would be able to fuel some of the president's claims about elections. Now, nothing that we have understood in our reporting about this speech tonight suggests that anything the president says will claim that the 2020 election results will have been different. There's nothing that we have seen in what we have been described that election would have turned out any differently. Of course, the real fear is that the president, in describing these vulnerabilities, is just...
So they're kind of weasel wording their way out of that. I don't think President Trump's point was to invalidate the 2020 election. President Trump was basically just saying, listen, there's a lot of illegal shit going on, and it's bigger than one election. And that's
our election.
That's the thing. That's the thing that actually gives me the most hope, is the fact that it's focused on the kind of broader problem of Chinese influence in U.S. politics versus just a single election. And nobody's
a fact. And what was going on with her hair, by the way?
now, Joe, don't be,
No, I will.
Go for it. All right. That's, guys, I think we've heard enough from CNN. That's all I got for today.
I want to show something, though. The thing I showed you guys. One of the guys showing up here for Mountain Readiness presented me with a gift, and it actually moved me incredibly, and I want to share it with everyone. Take a look at this thing. This is
that's awesome. Yeah,
that's pretty spectacular. The finish on it is fantastic. Love it. Very cool. So, Marshall, thank you for this, and we will find an appropriate place to display it. So, good deal.
Yeah,
that's the rest of you bringing me gifts. You got to up your game, yo. No, I'm just kidding.
Well,
absolutely not needed.
There you go. Look at this. This show is.
Oh, look who shows up right at the end. AAA Tactical.
Speaking of gifts,
Tactical, since you are here, I didn't look closely at that photo you sent me of the shorts. That inseam better be longer than it looks like. I'm just saying. If you let hunch influence you, I'm going to stab both of you.
I just like the fact that he said this. I mean, I just want to show this to my daughters and to my wife. I'm just saying.
Yeah, listen, way back in the beginning, Scott once showed his daughter one of our episodes, and she was like, I'm surprised 16 people were listening to you.
If I remember correctly, the exact quote was, wait, people watch this?
People watch it? No, the crazy thing, she was she showed, I guess she showed some guys in her class or something like this, and they were like, wow, that's cool. Your dad's a YouTuber. And it's like, it was like, and she's like, she's like, why did they like you?
By the way, I made an update to the hat that Jim gave me, as Jim suggested. What do you think?
Hey, definitely. The addition is a
mind that at all.
Yeah, I think it looks pretty darn good.
So
I will let you borrow the pith helmet while you are here, but I will search you before you leave.
All right. I'm really looking for those shorts. AAA we'll definitely be showing them off. Can't wait. And I know the other folks are ready and willing to start buying once you get up to higher rates of production. All right, guys, that's all I got for today. Thank you very much for being here. Joe, what do you see in your crystal ball going into the weekend?
I see rain. That's surprising. I see the left absolutely going insane on this and calling for the removal of Donald Trump over challenging our democracy. And I would really, really be on that. And Cervix Hammer, yes. Anyway.
All
right.
I'm with.
Go ahead, Watcher. Go ahead.
Same prediction. I'm with Joe. I have seen the fringes start to make the call already. I think it's going to be interesting though because they don't appear to be able to raise a crowd at the moment. So we'll see how that turns out.
Yeah, I tell you, my prediction is the DSA and the communists are not going to go away lightly, and I feel like within the next year or two, we're going to have some real problems with communists in America, and violence will come from that. And I don't know exactly what that violence looks like yet, but I'm not hopeful. All right, guys, that's all I got for today. Thank you very much. Mountain Readiness next week. We're looking forward to it. Probably, what is it? What is next Wednesday?
The 22nd.
Next Wednesday, the 22nd. I may or may not be available. I don't fly it to the 23rd, so that's not the problem. I just wanted to kind of.
I think we should probably say no show on the 22nd because there's a lot of packing and moving that's got to get done.
Yeah, that's probably a good point, right? You'll be initiating movement or moving on the 22nd.
We'll be back on Monday. We'll be back on Friday, but on Friday it will be from Mountain Ready.
Live from Camp Ponderosa. We're live from Camp Ponderosa now, but in another part of Camp Ponderosa.
Well, all of us live from Lance Corporal Veteran from $5 says, how much more do nothing by the right till we wake up? Oh, it won't be the right that wakes it up. It'll be individuals on the right that are forced to defend.
No, there's a great point that Lance Corporal Veteran is making, because when deflock started happening and people were cutting down these cameras, a large Twitter account said, "This is not the way, no matter how much you disagree." I disagree. It is 100% the American way. It is your heritage. Stop being a coward.
Yeah. Just checking. All right. No interesting. No super chats on Rumble today. All right. Well, no chats missed then. All right, guys. That's all we got. Thank you for being here. We will be back on Monday, and then we're going to have an amazing week next week. So looking forward to it. Trust me, if you're not gonna be there, you're gonna be missing out. We will be back on Monday. Thank you guys very much. And as always, stay safe.
All right, guys. I got to go see how many.